click tickets and the Datatrax dashboard, this is going to be a tutorial on how to set up your tickets for the first time in the Datatrax dashboard. So certainly you should have watched the first video. The first video shows you how to set up the click tickets dashboard. And again, it's pulling all the information from the Datatrax dashboard directly into that click tickets dashboard. Essentially, we still have to set up the tickets here for the first time. So we're going to kind of go through just some of the basics today on what ticket or how to set up a ticket. As we go into more details of this specific ticket that we're working on, we'll talk about other scenarios that we may need to set up for the future or for other tickets and how you go about doing that. So the first thing you do is just go to your setup button here and you go to tickets. We're going to generate a ticket. Click on tickets and we're going to create a ticket here. We're going to just call this ticket Winery Tour. And once you hit the tab button, it actually carries this information over to the name of the ticket. And really, this is all you have to do in this very first section here, just creating a name for your ticket. The next section here is really just kind of creating what we call a fare type. And again, we'll set up a demo ticket for you before you get access to the Click Tickets dashboard, so you'll see your ticket come in there. But this section here, we're just going to create a fare type. So when we click on fare types, we're going to have different ones already created here on our demo account, but yours would actually be blank. And generally what we do is we set up maybe a general admission ticket for you to start with. So we just create the ticket and hit the arrow to carry over that ticket because we want to use this ticket and hit done. Now we want to set a price for that ticket. Okay, so the ticket, let's say it's $25 to do this wine tour. You're certainly going to probably more likely pass on your ticketing fee onto the customer. And let's just say your ticketing fee is $4.99. So if you're passing on that ticketing fee, you would add on that ticketing fee right here in that section. So that's all we do for the ticket price here. Next section here is we want to create some information about that specific ticket. So the first thing we want to do is we want to create a barcode. And what I mean by barcode is by the QR code that's actually going to be printed on the ticket for the customer to scan that ticket once they receive that ticket. So you go here to barcodes and we click the setup. And we've already got a QR code set up in here, and that's what you would pick. We will set that up for you ahead of time. You're just going to drop this down and pick the QR code as your ticket. Hit the done button. This button here says force the individual tickets. That button is used to create actual individual QR codes. In other words, if somebody buys 5 of these tickets for the tour, you're not just getting one QR code. You're going to get 5 separate QR codes to be scanned. And that's just in case that the customer wants to maybe split off those tickets. Maybe somebody's going to come sooner than the other person, so they want to go ahead and get in. So you'd want to have individual tickets for each individual person that's going to be shown up. And we just simply check that box. We also want to print the price on that ticket. And then most importantly here is this ticket tracking. This is where you're going to tell the system how many times do you want this ticket to be able to be scanned. So naturally, most of our clients that experience that they only want the ticket to be scanned one time. And once it's scanned once, that ticket is dead. Some other scenarios that you might think about is if maybe you have a weekend pass, maybe it's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday event, and you want to allow that ticket to be scanned 3 times, once on each day, then of course you would set that ticket the number of scans of 3. But more often than not, we usually just most clients pick just one time that ticket can be scanned, and that way that ticket can't be shared or given to another person to try to get in and sneak in. Next section here is really the expiration. So does this ticket actually have an expiration date on it? So if your specific event is for this winery tour on June 30th, then you would want to make sure this ticket expires on June 30th on that date. So we would just set that specific date and time that you would want that ticket to expire. So we pick on here June 30th, and we'd set the time, whatever time that you guys close, or what time that you want to that ticket to stop working at midnight, however you want to control that ticket. Now this section here, what a lot of people start thinking about is that how do you want your ticket to be displayed? In other words, if you have one-time events going on, let's say that it's a wine tour and it's just on June 30th, then more than likely, actually, what we would probably do is go back up here to this winery tour and mark this as 6/30/21 as the date of that tour. And that way that name of that ticket is called Winery Tour June 30th, 2021. That way we could just create this one ticket and that's it. The other part where I was going at with this is that if you have a situation where this winery tour is ongoing, it is every day of the week, Monday through Sunday, however you want to do that, we can actually create a calendar on the back end to where the calendar pops up and the customer would pick the calendar of the date that they want to go, and they click on that and they would purchase a ticket for that specific date. So if you need a calendar function, that would be something you would need to reach out to us directly, and we would need to get the specifics of that calendar, how you want it set up, what your hours of operation are, those kind of things. We'll get into more details with that if that's something that you need. But if you do have a specific date that your event is, a concert, that's a specific date, a pub crawl, that's a specific date, whatever have you, you can just create that individual ticket just by creating that ticket and its name here up at the top. So again, we're just going to assume this is a June 30th ticket and that we are going to set that to expire at midnight on June 30th. The next section here is if you have a capacity limit. So this would be something like if you only are allowing 500 tickets to be sold for this wine tour that day, and that's all you want to allow, you can control that with a capacity number. If it's unlimited and you're allowing unlimited guests to come, then you don't want to turn any kind of capacity on. You would leave that off. But if you are turning that capacity on, you would just click this drop down. We would change this to Datatrax. And then that's it for right now. We'll move on to the next step, and we'll talk more about how you pick that number of how much capacity you want to set here shortly. Short description here. Short description is really just going to be something very brief. We're going to call this a wine tour, June 30th, 2021. And click for more info. And when they click for more info, this would give them an opportunity to give more of a longer description for that. So this might be more wine tour, doors open at 8 a.m., last tour at 8 p.m. If you have any type of return policies, refund policies, you would want to put that in here. If you have a COVID policy, you would want to put that in here. Anything specific that you need to tell your customer about this tour, you would want to put this in the long description. Whatever you put in this long description carries over to the ticket that your customer receives. So again, be very specific on here on this long description section. Last thing that we do on this ticket is we're going to actually add a picture on here. So we're going to go ahead and get an image uploaded here. All you're going to need to do is hit the upload photo button, do a browse, and find the image in your documents or wherever you have that image at. And there's a winery photo there. We're going to go and add this a second one here also. So we're going to do this twice. So now you have a primary image and a thumbnail image. That's the last thing you do just to get the ticket set up here. Last thing we're going to do is hit the save button. And actually it's going to come back and give me an error here. And I think I know why the error is happening. So we're going to go ahead and show you what these errors might be. Down here in this section here, we partner with a company out of Canada that's called Datatrax. And sometimes we run into issues with Datatrax on the back end letting us know that they don't accept some of the characters that we would use here in the US. So I believe it's these slashes that are not working. So I'm going to change these to dashes, and I believe it's going to set this fine. So if you ever get an error message in there, that's why in the text, it's because of one of the characters that we're using here in the US. So next thing that we want to do here is we want to go to the capacity management. So we're just going to go down here to setup, and we want to add that capacity number for that wine tour. So we hit the capacity management. We're going to go down here and drop down and find the winery tour. And we're going to put a number of those tickets available now. And we hit the save button here. So now it just gave me a limit of 500 tickets that are available for that specific event for that date. So now that we've created that ticket, this ticket now will generate over on your Click Tickets Clover dashboard. So you should see that in your Products tab. If you click on the Products tab when you open up your Clover Click Tickets dashboard, you can see that ticket pulling in now. You can make it so that ticket can be visible, or you can make it so that ticket can set a certain quantity there under that products tab there. So that's it. All you have to do is do what I just showed you to create your first ticket. And again, if you need very specific information on timestamps or calendar functionality, you'll want to reach out to us here at Click Tickets, and we'll work with Datatrax on building that on for you on the back end.